So this one is from Becky, one of our badass unicorns, who asks, this might have come up recently, so please feel free to skip. Nope, I'm happy to cover it again and again and again. Do you have any suggestions for making daily draws feel more intentional? Yes, I absolutely do. And I love talking about this because when my daily draw practice gets boring or robotic, that's when I stop doing it. And then it doesn't help me anymore. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about the classic card a day, because I kind of hate it. Sometimes I get back into a groove with it, but here's the thing. Okay, so all the tarot teachers say, seems like all the tarot teachers say, to get used to your cards or just to have a good practice, you should pull a card a day. Why? Why a card a day? What's the purpose? For what reason? Why? That is your first question. Why? Why are you pulling a card? Are you pulling a card so that you have some advice for the day? Are you pulling a card because you want to know what might happen that day in a more predictive way? Are you pulling a card because you just want to test yourself to see if you remember what that card means? Those are very different purposes for pulling a single card. Let's look at it. So I'm pulling my daily card. Okay, I got the wheel. No, that's the world. I can't read. I got the world. Okay. I guess today's going to be like a world day. Or wait, is it telling me that I'm going to have some success today or something's going to be finished today? Wait, what does the world mean again? Do you know what I mean? Now I'm annoyed because I've pulled a card and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. What am I supposed to do with it? So I will say this. If you're going to have a daily card practice, whether it's doing a spread for yourself every day or most days, whether it's pulling a card, whether it's pulling a couple cards, have a reason first. Don't even pick up your deck until you have a reason. So first off, daily practice, have a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, there's not much point in doing it. So let's talk about some easy purposes that might be helpful. Maybe, and here's the other cool thing. You can make a list of these and rotate them. So this week, I'm going to pull a card every day to see what I can do better in my marriage. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Okay, so this week, so I'm going to write a bunch of ideas down. So what can I do better in my marriage? That's something that I'm always interested in or that I can work on, right? So let's think of some other reasons. Something else that applies to your own journey that might be useful to do a check-in about once a day. So I might do, how can I be a better friend today? That's another one, right? Another one might be, what should I focus on at work today? Maybe 4, what do my kids need from me today? Do you see where I'm going with this? So that's just some examples of present-based focus or advice kind of based ideas. So now let's look at some predictive ideas. What is something, we're just coming up with these on the fly, y'all. Feel free to contribute in the chat if you have ideas. What is something I might easily overlook today? And I'm going to put to my detriment. Basically, what's something I might miss today if I'm not paying attention? That's going to give me something to look out for. 2, what obstacle might I face today? These are just single cards, okay? But think of how you could build on these. So, okay, what obstacle might I face today? Okay, and then maybe you want this to be a 2-card draw. So I'm going to put in parentheses here. And how can I clear it? So card 2 might be, how can I clear it? So do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah, Jenny, what should I say yes to today? Yes. So maybe somebody's going to ask a question and you're going to be prepared. What should I say yes to today? Now, again, these are mostly just single card draws. What have we done? We've given ourselves a why. Now, you could literally you could make a list like this for yourself and pick something every single day that just feels like you need it that day. And as you think of more ideas, you can build even more. You can add even more to the list. You can, do you know what I'm saying? You can pick one and focus on it for a week. You can, yes, Dana, what will I experience today? That's more predictive. Yeah. What will I experience today? And if you want a second card for that, you could add, and how should I prepare for that? Do you see where I'm going with this? Now, what if you just don't want to have to think of a question? You're like, I don't know. Pull a card for the question. Okay. Now, if you have an Oracle deck handy, you could pull an Oracle deck because they are great for creating a question for yourself. So if you have an oracle deck, or you can just use whatever tarot deck you have handy, you can have the deck tell you what the question is you need to ask. Let's experiment. So shuffle our deck. Our intention is that the card I pull is going to create the question. Okay. So we have the Knight of Swords. What do we know about the Knight of Swords? Just throw whatever out in chat you want to throw out. So we know the Knight of Swords tends to rush into situations. They're very justice-minded. They want to do right, but they're also very quick to respond and react. They don't always pause to think. They're definitely all about think quick, move quick, do quick. Like they're very go, right? So what question, if I see this, what question feels relevant to me personally? And I might ask myself, I might look at this and go, ooh, maybe my question is, how can I slow down today? How can I slow down today? So now I've got a question. Nine of Pentacles. Oh, this is actually really beautiful. Recognize how much work I've already done. Give myself permission to take a breather. This is actually super relevant to me because I did a lot of work last night. I filmed like 4 videos. I've still got to edit those videos. And typically I would try to edit them right away, which means that my normal routine would be I would finish this live stream, grab some lunch, and then probably sit down in front of my computer and just edit for the whole rest of the day. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to take this message and go, you know what? I've accomplished a lot. None of that needs to be edited right now. So I'm going to just chill and maybe play some video games with my wifey. Maybe play a little of my solo RPG. Maybe do some reading. Maybe watch some tarot tube. You know, I'm just going to chill. So I got a perfectly meaningful message for myself for the day because at first I didn't want to think of a question because I just don't feel like it. So I let the tarot help me think of a question. And then I pulled a card to answer that question. And now I've just done a really meaningful reading for myself. And it's not just a robotic card a day. That card a day practice, man, I have so many opinions. But the other thing I'll do, and this is my go-to, if I just don't know what to do, I always will just do an energy obstacle advice. Okay, energy, what's my energy for the day? What's an obstacle I might need to face? And what's my advice for dealing with that obstacle? That's a go-to for me. It's helpful. I usually find it useful and it's interesting. So if I can't think of anything or I don't want to bother doing any of these other exercises, I will do that. But at the end of the day, I think if you're forcing yourself to do something, and there's a second half to this idea. If you're forcing yourself to do something and you don't see the benefit in forcing yourself to do that thing every single day, you're not reaping any result from doing that thing every day, even though you don't really want to, it's probably not for you. Now, there's things that we make ourselves do because we see a long-term benefit. Like it's not always exciting to get up every morning and brush your teeth, but we brush our teeth because long-term we enjoy the benefits of having better teeth, right? So sure, there's times when showing up every day and pulling a card is beneficial for you long-term, even when it's not exciting, even when it's not super inspiring. But if you're also noticing you're not getting a long-term benefit, you don't see the value long-term, don't force yourself to do something just because people on the internet or anywhere in books or whatever say you should do this thing every day. Like, I don't pull cards every single day. There's plenty of times I go several days in a row without pulling a card for myself, sometimes even longer. So trust yourself, do what feels right. But hopefully these tips were helpful and answered your question.